don't know why I did that. It's a library book. I'll just put the book that was back in there. Right, time for another book review. Yay! Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here, or at Activate Learn on Twitter. It is time for another book review, and I am screaming through the books, which I'm quite happy with. So this book that I've just finished is Delia Owens' Where the Crawdads Sing. You may have seen it on the bookshelves, you may have seen it on the GoodReads list of books to be read. It is a bestseller. It is very, very popular. People are raving about it, and this is her first book. Now, Delia Owens is a zoologist, a natural scientist, and it comes out in her writing, especially in this book. I've not read a book like this before. Well, look, let me just backtrack a bit. This book is partly a coming-of-age book, a book on poetry, a murder mystery. It's a book about natural science as well, simply because of the way that it's written and the type of natural science and ecology references that are scattered throughout the book. It is effectively about a young girl by the name of Kia. I assume it's Kia, could be Kia Clark. She's 6 years old. She lives in the marshlands of North Carolina. And what it is, it's about how she's effectively left by the people that she loves. Firstly, her mum, then her brothers and sisters, who leave the old hut that they lived in the marshlands, and then she's left to fend for herself with her father, who is a drunk and always out and about, leaves for days on end and leaves her to her own devices. So it's about a little girl growing in a very harsh environment, but an environment that she comes to love and understand, and she seems to be much more connected to nature around her. She grows up by herself. She learns to fend for herself in the swamp, in the marshlands, and so we see her and we connect with her and we feel for her, because she has this feeling where she can't trust the people who she loves, because they'll invariably end up leaving her. But at the same time, she also needs to be connected to another human being. So as she grows, we see her friendship with a young man who is always in her life, a young man by the name of Tate, who's a good bloke. He's a really good guy, always wants to do right by her, who teaches her how to read, who brings her books from his school. And we see that she's quite intelligent and she starts to pick up reading quite quickly. She seems to understand the world, and it seems kind of like her life in the marshlands, in the swamp, starts to make sense because she's reading the science books that he brings over to her. However, you know, as young love is, the teenage boy grows and he wants to explore the world and go to university, and he realizes that he needs to leave her. Now, in his place, he then just chuffs off, and in his place there is a group of teenagers who then she spies on and takes a liking to the young jock by the name of Chase Andrews. And it's I guess a love story with Chase, but Chase is that, you know, the bloke who just doesn't do right by women. Anyway, he's very much like her father, and there is an instance there where things get a bit I'm not going to say that. Anyway, so we see we're not rooting for Chase, if you get my drift. Anyway, so what happens is there's a murder in here. Should I say it? Okay, anyway, someone murders Chase, right? But all fingers point to Kaya, because no one understands her. All the village people think, oh my God, the marsh girl, it has to be her. We don't understand her. She hasn't gone to school. She speaks to the dragonflies. Anyway, you get my drift. It's kind of like it reads To Kill. When I was reading this, I was kind of like reading it like To Kill a Mockingbird. That's how it felt like. Anyway, so all the people go up in arms that it's, you know, it's her. And so it's also about the incompetence of the police trying to do the investigation to find out who actually killed Chase Andrews, if it was indeed a murderer. But there's a massive twist in this book. I'm not going to say it. However, suffice to say that it's actually a wonderful book. I immediately got into it. I was immediately immersed into the story. I really felt for Kia because she's a sensitive individual, highly intelligent, intellectual. She had people around her who wanted to help her, but at the same time she was still fearful to make that connection with them. And then when she does, they somehow disappoint her. But you know what? That is life. Really beautiful writing. I loved the writing. It was very poetic, prosy. There was poetry in it, and there's a little twist to the poetry as well. So no wonder this book has been really popular, because it actually defies the types of books that are out there on the market. It's written well. It's sensitive. It comes across as something that you could really get into, enjoy, and just feel for the characters. Anyway, that is it for me. Have you read this book? Let me know. I'd be interested in your reviews. Right, what's the next book on the list? It's sitting over there, and I'll tell you what, I'm not really impressed with it. In fact, I'd feel embarrassed by reviewing it. But anyway, you'll just have to wait for the next review. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.